All right, welcome to everybody to this community meeting of Kubewarden for the month of May 2024. I'm Flavio and I'm going to be your host today. This meeting is recorded and is going to be also published on YouTube. So if you're watching us on YouTube, please drop a message, join us on the Kubewarden Slack instance. And of course, you can also join this meeting if it's in a time slot that is suitable with you. The meeting is open to everybody and it's a safe place where we can discuss about Kubewarden and talk about, upcoming things as, for maintainers, or discuss, usage of Kubewarden and problems of Kubewarden, any kind of topic related with Kubewarden is more than welcome. So today we have two major topics. So we want to give you an update about what is coming with the next version of Kubewarden, which is Kubewarden 1.13. It is scheduled for this month of May. And we're going to go through some major areas of it. And then we already did sort of the planning of what we plan to ship with the next version of Kubewarden. So we will give you a sneak peek at what is coming next. The first item of the agenda is about 1.13 release, the upcoming one. And more specifically, it's about some work on our controller. And I will leave Jose to tell more about that.
Yeah, so during the past weeks, we decided to pay some tech debt that we already know that we have, like simplifying some of our controller code, making use of Kubernetes feature to do something that we are doing manually. So, and that will also help us in the future to investigate and improve and add features in the controller that requested by our users. So for that, during the past days, we've did more basically two bigger tech debt fixes. One is just to use some of helper functions from our the controller runtime library, which we use to build our controller. So basically, we start to replace our logic to detect when an object should be created or updated, and use helper function for that, which is available there. So now, and that remove a lot of code from the controller, and to ensure that that also is continuing to work. And after that change, we added a bunch of integration tests, which we already have some tests testing our functions, but we would like to ensure that the behavior will remain the same. So we add the integration tests, which interacts with the cluster as usual, and validated that. So we basically doubled the number of integration tests to cover this change. So we don't expect any weird bug showing up, even if considering the amount of change that we did. And besides that, to also simplify our reconciler in the controller, we start to make use of OwnerReferences from Kubernetes to allow us to simplify the deletion process and not need to delete every resource manually. So now we just release the policy server and everything goes away automatically. That's cool. I also remove a lot of code, and we also do not expect any further bugs related to that, because we also had the testing for cover that. And as a result of this, a lot of lines removal, add tests, we increase considerably the code coverage of our controller by, in the last month, by 20%. So we reaching a point where we would like to reach in some months ago, when we start to planning stuff to do. And that's cool. I mean, it's the controller is easy to read, easy to maintain, and now we can move forward and start to adding more stuff. So yeah, I think that's all.
Yeah, while you were talking about, the code coverage improvements, I started screen sharing, and yeah, the bump is impressive, is a good one. And yeah, this is really paying off. And we plan to keep working on that to address some areas of the code that are like the one that is in red over there. But overall, the quality has definitely improved. So this is an ongoing process of stabilizing this controller.
Yeah, that's great. I'm excited to see what we do next to make it even better.
Yeah. Good. The next, thanks, Jose. The next item we have on the agenda is the cell policy. So this is something that we have been talking a bit during the last months. So we have been working on this policy that allows you to run cell policies using Kubewarden. Cell is this language that is gaining momentum inside of the cloud native ecosystem. It is at the heart of the validating admission VAP validation. What is the full name? My memory is just
Tech step? I
no
don't.
VAP, the validation admission plugin of
Sorry, didn't hear
Kubernetes.
you.
Yeah, no, validating admission policy. Yeah, sorry, too many acronyms. So we've been working on that since quite some time. This policy is not yet published on Artifact Hub, and this is something that we want to do during the 1.13 release. What we are currently working on is to extend the cell language so that on top of doing what the AP is capable of, policy authors can also leverage some features that Kubewarden provides, like interacting with OCI registries, interacting with SIG-Store, or even pulling information from the Kubernetes cluster, so context-aware policies. And this is some work that is ongoing, and Victor, who is not around today, is handling that. We already have a bunch of pull requests that are basically ready to be merged, and so progress is going. We're progressing pretty well on this topic. So, yeah, that's basically all I can share. Unfortunately, Victor and Fabrizio are not around today, but this is the gist of it. The last topic on the agenda for related with the 1.13 release is about the memory consumption of a policy server. So we have been reported by community users that when a policy server has context-aware policies and the information being pulled from the Kubernetes cluster is significant in amount of size, then the policy server process is consuming a lot of memory. And in certain cases, this causes a problem because if the policy server pod has some memory limits imposed to that, then the policy server container is going to be killed by the out of memory killer of the kernel. And then the situation will go on and start again. And of course, running with really high memory limits is suboptimal. We also want to have predictable memory usage, or at least consistent one. So we started to look into this issue, and we just recently got to the bottom of it. So we understand now what is actually going on. It's not a memory leak. It's an issue with how one of the libraries that we use is pulling information from the Kubernetes API server. It's doing that in a, let's say, suboptimal way, which is leading to a lot of memory allocation being done. And that in conjunction with how the Rust default allocator works, the default memory allocator works, we end up having a lot of memory which is not being used, heap memory that is not being used anymore. But the memory allocator of Rust is not releasing this memory, giving it back to the operating system, because he thinks that maybe this memory is going to be useful again. And instead of requesting new memory from the operating system, it just keeps these chunks of memory ready to be used. But our memory consumption patterns, they do not involve, a lot of memory allocation, except for the first one when we pull all this data. And so we really have to give back. So for two things, we have to give back the memory to the OS, and also we have to change how this information are being pulled from the Kubernetes API server, so that we do not have a big spike of memory when everything starts and then suddenly a release of memory. We want to have kind of a constant or limited amount of memory being used. And this is involving quite some changes in different areas. Yeah, we're working on that. This proved to be quite challenging, but also, interesting. It was driving Fabrizio and me crazy during the last week. But now that we got to the bottom of it, this is good. So more work on that in the next weeks, and hopefully we will get something ready for the 1.13 release, because we want to stay constrained by the schedule. So we want to have a constant stream of releases. So if something that we plan to do with 1.13 is not available by the time we want to tag 1.13, we will just tag 1.13 without this feature, and this is going to be available the next month as part of the next release of Kubewarden. After all, as we have seen, we already have plenty of good things that are already merged, and it would be a waste to just let them sit and wait until certain features are fully done. So yeah, that's all I have to say about the 1.13. There are also some other topics that we haven't started to work on yet, but these are planned to be done, and hopefully we will get some time to work on them during the next weeks. So the last point on our agenda today is about what is coming after with 1.14. So everything is still in flux, nothing is set in stone. But one of the things that we would like to work on is the ability to group some policies together. This is something that was requested also by the community. So let's say that, for example, you want to do something like I don't want container images coming from the Docker Hub to be trusted unless the user who created like a pod definition is this user or is this service account. So right now we have a policy that verifies from where an image is coming. But this policy doesn't have a concept of making an exception if the user is Flavio or is a certain service account. So what could be done is to write a new policy that is just looking at who is the author of a certain request, and then put the two policies together in a condition. Like when you do some programming, you can say reject this if it is coming from Docker Hub and the owner is not Flavio or this service account. This opens quite some interesting scenarios. You could also, group together, other policies that are already existing, accept from from Docker Hub if Sigstore is verified by this user. So there are many different ways to do that. Many interesting scenarios that open thanks to the grouping of the policies together. And yeah, this is something that we plan to work on. We haven't written an RFC yet. RFCs are documents where we describe how a feature should work from the high level, why we are interested about doing that with some concrete use case scenarios. And then instead of the RFC, there is a technical explanation about how this is going to be done. And once this is settled, we go on and we just start to work on that. So this is something that is going to be hopefully part of 1.14. But if you have other things that you would like to be see as done as part of 1.14, do not be shy. Reach out to us on Slack or on GitHub issues, and yeah, we will be happy to hear more from you. That's all. These are all the things we had on our agenda. I don't know if you have other things to say.
Nothing from my side.
No, nothing here.
All right, good. Then thanks for attending and thanks for watching the video on YouTube. As always, this meeting is open to everybody. You are welcome to join it, and hopefully see you soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.